winter time, waiting for the acolyte. I am gonna catch that fool. You will think I'm really cool. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you, catch you, catch you. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed.
Hello, Mouse, and welcome to Feedback Friday. It is December 12th, 2025, but not 2025 for too much longer. The year's almost at an end here. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hopefully, everybody is doing well today. Welcome on in. Adrian says, woohoo, hey, Pigeon, nice to see you. You want to make that song your ringtone, says Adrian. And that sounds like a fun idea. I think the bridge of that song would make a fun ringtone. It's got a little synthesizer medley going there. That would actually work pretty well, come to think of it. Max, hello, welcome on in. I see the time shift means Feedback Fridays at a bit of a different time in your neck of the woods, eh? Well, I'm glad that's working a little bit better for you. Hopefully that stays the same for 6 months. We'll see. Ralph, you're loving the Rift Hailstone base. You must be a Valor Rift fan. Glad to hear it as well. Yeah, today we'll get a little bit of feedback on the Great Winter Hunt. A few reminders of some important dates as well. See if there's any questions, concerns that crop up. Also, it's great to take some notes, write that down, as we so often do for so many events. Take some notes, write down some feedback. We use it for food for thought for other events, other releases, as well as next year if an event is to repeat. It is nice to have some feedback notes. Pigeon's looking for more storm cells. You need 550. What's the goal with 550 storm cells? That's a pretty impressive stockpile that you would have. Russ, happy Great Winter Hunt to you as well. Send a friend request. I'll see what I can do. Paratube, hello, welcome on in. Pigeon's cooing. Scratching dude. First to put a coffee emoji. I appreciate that. That'll remind me to take a sip of coffee. Clip, welcome in. Good day to you as well. Frio, hello, hello. Wes joining us from Wisconsin. Well, hello from Canada. Not too far away here in southern Ontario. I'll just wave to the west a little bit across the Great Lakes. Max, no Yule log trap skin for the sawmill trap. That is such a good idea. I better jot that down. I mean, come on now. That has to happen next year. That's just too perfect. That's a great idea. Summer, welcome on in. Bottle check Fleming, good to see you. Alas, I don't have a bottle of water. Just coffee today. Just working on dehydrating. No hydrating, I guess. Well, today I thought we'd look at the winter hunt a little bit. See if there's any questions, confusion, concerns that come up. It's kind of feedback, like I said, to log for next year, other events, inspiration for other updates that we may be working on. It's also a good time to recap a few important dates to keep in mind. There is an animated snowstorm on the way. It'll be arriving December 15. You can expect that to start at what I can call regular game update time, if that provides a bit of intuitive sense of when that might start. That's 11 a.m. here in our neck of the woods. I'm pretty sure that's 1600 UTC. I have a little bit of doubt in my voice as I say that out loud, as dealing with dates and times. But it is on the calendar as well. If you didn't know, you can click the countdown timer in the Great Winter Hunt interface, and it will open up this calendar. So, you know, if you haven't thought to click it before, give it a click. It'll load this up. You can see the countdown timer, how much time is left in the event, as well as a few important dates to keep in mind as the event progresses also. And yeah, Stuck Snowball Sunday's coming up. And then right on the heels of that, the Animated Snowstorm is going to start up as well, where mice in the Taiga will be dropping animated snow. I believe the Glazy Mouse, the Joy Mouse, and I think the Snowflake Mouse. I'm doing that from memory, but I think they drop the most animated snow. There'll also be paired up with a news post as well. That'll kind of lay all that out as well. That's good to keep in mind. Another important reminder is to send profile gifts before December 18. So if you're interested in leaving some gifts under a friend's tree, you have till December 18 to do that. And I'd say December 17 is the last day to send the gifts, because on December 18, that's when people can open their gifts. And, you know, in case it's your first winter hunt, or a reminder from last year, once you can open gifts, you can no longer send them. You can always use the supply transfer. You know, you can still send them something, but you won't be able to wrap it and put it under their tree once December 8 hits. So do it before it is December 8. It's like the holiday gifting deadline, if you want to think of it in that way. Para asking about a return for the winter charm. No immediate plans for that. I think it's probably still available in the marketplace if you're looking to just collect one or something like that. But being an older charm, we kind of phase out some of the event stuff. Just to have fewer moving parts. It gets a little bit confusing if we have too many things all going at the same time that all do slightly different things. Same goes for old event cheese as well. If you have maybe some snowball bocconcini, some festive feta, frozen fromage. I believe there's some type of nutmeg cheese. I think it's just called nutmeg cheese now that I said that. Gingerbread cheese. There's lots of Great Winter Hunt cheese out there. You can use it, and it functions the same way Super Brie functions. So it's a good way to kind of upgrade it into pecan pecorino. Ice, nice to see you. Welcome on in. Game Awards yesterday. MouseHunt should have won the best. Hey, I agree. Best ongoing game. Sounds good to me, Ice. Matt, good morning. Welcome on in. Sound is a bit low. I'll try to project. I got it cranked though, so you may have to turn me up on your end, but I'm doing my best. I think I got that mic gain cranked, but fair enough. It's not quite hitting the yellow. I'm not peaking that mic. Christy hats are for sale, just hidden from the main screen that opens. Not quite sure if I follow you there. Alas, Fleming, no mechanical keyboard. Well, what other important dates here can we look over are the New Year's celebration as well. That'll start up on December 30. That should start, again, around usual game update time. Give us a little bit of wiggle room there. We do technically do that while we're on holiday break. We kind of, jump online, hang out for a little bit. We deploy, we launch the New Year's celebration phase, keep an eye on things for a little bit, and then we kind of resume our holiday. So it may not adhere to a strict timeline, but, at some point during December 30 in the early hours, at least for us, we'll get that started up. And then finally, too, if we're looking really far ahead here, all the way in January 6th is when Golem Parts will no longer drop. That's when the event will enter its shutdown phase, so you'll still be able to progress your golems and everything, but you can't get any more parts. It's a good time to start taking inventory, maybe smash a few of your excess golem parts. You can visit the general store, purchase bells with animated snow that you get from smashing those parts, and then start belling some golems home. But hey, many days to wait before you have to be thinking about that. But good to keep in mind, that is when the event comes to an end. And that will lead to the next thing we want to touch base on Feedback Friday today is the event closure is on January 13th, and that is when we're planning on launching the conclusion cliffs. And I'm happy to report everything seems on track there, unless we have some sort of unforeseen delay. That is the plan, and things seem to be working out pretty well so far. The hat is missing from the premium shop. Okay. Thank you, Norm, for clarifying. Let's see here. Well, how did that happen, eh? Yep, look at that. Oh, I see. Okay, you can search for it, but it is not on the main listing page. Okay, I follow there. So that's good to know as well. Thanks, Norm and Giorgio. The Winter Charm isn't old. It is on the marketplace. There's no way to obtain the Winter Charm. That's what I mean. It's kind of a discontinued holiday item. No new ones enter the game. So if you like, you can purchase them from the marketplace if another hunter is willing to part ways with theirs, but there is no way to get the Winter Charm and no plans to have it return. John asking, is there any chance for limited edition stuff to return? No, there's no immediate plans to ever change the definition of limited edition. It means it does not come back. That said, we do kind of watch out if there are some very impactful limited edition items that we could introduce a non-limited edition version of it. So for example, the Naughty List printing press base also has a normal printing press base in the game that you can also earn. And there's a few others as well. The Hothouse base, which was another Great Winter Hunt base, has the Living base as its equivalent, has the same effect, very similar stats as well. So that's kind of, at the moment, that's how we approach it. I mean, always open to changing our mind at some point, but that's the current course we're on. Presso already asking, will the Great Winter Hunt return next year? Well, I would imagine in some capacity, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's at least let spring wait for spring to have sprung before we start talking about that. Fleming's sending Norm some passing parcels. I think he loves those things. Yeah, John, I understand the sentiment. Yeah, it can be a little bit of, you're missing out on a little thing. That said, if something's truly impactful, we try to add it there. And it's part of every hunter's story as well, right? So in some ways, it goes just hand in hand in real life too, outside of the game world. Sometimes you just weren't there for something, and that's okay, right? And in some ways, that's like a character trait we can all develop, both in games, if life imitates art, I guess, and all that. And, just like in real life, sometimes you just weren't there. You didn't get to see, maybe there was a concert you missed, and then that performer just never, you didn't get a chance to ever go to a concert, and they don't tour anymore, and it's like, I wasn't there for that, but that's part of your story, and that's okay. It's someone else's story is a little bit different, and then that makes interacting with other people all the more interesting, that everybody has a different story to tell. So in some ways, look at it as a character trait to develop that makes your specific circumstances, your journey through the game, and life for that matter, a unique one. Is that's part of what makes life interesting. Xavier asking, is there a reason why the gift opening ceremony is so early? That's just kind of how it worked out. Typically, we like to make sure that we have some developers on call to both deploy that code as well as address any potential issues that may come up anytime something kind of major goes live. That's why I always get a little bit nervous launching that New Year's celebration on December 30th. So it's just kind of how the timing worked out. That's what works out best for us to make sure we can do the gift opening ceremony at a time that will be the least likely to be problematic for players. So hopefully that explains it. There was once upon a time we coordinated that, so December 25th in the morning, the gift opening ceremony. I was like, that makes sense. You should be able to open up gifts on December 25th. And we can just kind of cut to a scene of me at my laptop as my family is waiting for me to join them on Christmas morning as I'm working to wonder why there's a problem that needs to be fixed. So lesson learned there from many, many years ago to not have a release go out when perhaps there's nobody immediately available to reliably work on, just in case something goes wrong. Or at least to limit it as much as possible. Matt, you stepped away from the game. You would have 11 of 12 bases, but that's okay. It's part of your MouseHunt story. Exactly, right? Remember, at the end of the day, they're kind of collectible bases, and that's, it's kind of part of your chapter. So what makes that something unique? It becomes a discussion point in and amongst friends and fellow hunters as they gather around the campfire. They can swap hunter stories of like, I was there to get that piece of equipment, but I missed this other one, the one that got away. That's part of the experience. And in some ways, if you can have everything, then everything becomes a little less interesting and special. So. Well, if we've covered the winter hunt, I think we covered all the topics there. Again, I'll just kind of reiterate. You can click the countdown timer on both browser and mobile. I guess tap it on mobile to be precise. You can open up this calendar interface as well. It's a great way to visualize when things are happening. Stuck Snowball Sundays, those do happen at midnight UTC. So that's kind of game time. It's the same time that your gift count resets and you can send out new gifts. The animated snowstorm, though, and you can almost think of that as a release. It's going to happen at our sort of standard release time in the morning for us. When we're there, we have to kind of manually flip some switches to get that to go live. Same deal, gift opening ceremony. That is like a content release that'll happen at the usual game update time. New Year's phase, same thing. Event, same thing. Kind of all those. Same time Feedback Friday just started. That's usual update time for us. The only exception to that is the Stuck Snowball Sundays. Those happen at midnight UTC, so those will be synced up with your advent calendar, same time of the day that you can open up the next door on the calendar, same time that your gift resets, and all that stuff. We did want to also mention that the event ends January, let me look at it so I don't say the wrong date, January 13 is when the event will close, and that is when we're planning on releasing the conclusion cliffs. Everything's going according to plan as well. So barring some major catastrophe or unforeseen challenge that comes up, looks like that plan will be successful to release the conclusion cliffs on January 13. And you can prepare for the cliffs primarily by collecting plot hooks. So if you've been hunting in the falls, you've likely noticed that you're collecting plot hooks, I would hope so. And on the HUD, you see that makes plotting pannier cheese. That'll be the cheese that you need to navigate through conclusion cliffs. And that's a cheese type that you can upgrade into higher tiers of cheese as well. And using those higher tiers of cheese are going to allow you to write more pages per catch as well. So, the amount of pannier that you need will kind of vary based on your objectives, where you are. And it's kind of a bit reactive. We'll even take a little sneak peek at the conclusion cliffs as well to see if we can just foreshadow a little bit, help hunters get the hang of what to expect there without giving too much away either. But there's a little bit of a learning curve of when do you use the right tier of cheese. The better cheese isn't always the better choice. You want to kind of save it for the moments where it's going to be most advantageous. So that's maybe a good little hint before the conclusion cliffs arrive, is that, well, there's tiers of cheese, but you shouldn't always hunt with the best one. Otherwise, you'll burn through your plot hooks a little bit quicker than you'd like to. So you definitely want to manage those resources well. And it'll be, I think, a fun challenge for hunters to embark upon when the conclusion cliffs arrives. John asking about the Sandcastle Shard Trap. What has you longing for the Shard Trap? A non-Ellie auger bot. That would, I think the auger bot's potentially a candidate of something that would make the short list of maybe one day it would need a non-Ellie version. It's quite impactful going through the iceberg with and without that. And it changes the story. But that said, we keep a little bit of the short list and they kind of bubble up to the surface and we kind of wait and see and haw over things a little bit. So there's never any guarantees either. Yeah, Johnny, I understand the sentiment, and I can definitely, can see your sentiment of there. Well, we have just, it's part of the game. It's been part of the game for 18 years, and it's much like you always capture mice. There aren't rats, and there aren't other animals to hunt for. It's MouseHunt, so it's kind of part of the game, and you can kind of, it might be a part of the game you don't particularly enjoy, but yeah, it's part of the game nevertheless as well. So. Paratube looking for something new to buy with Advent chocolates. Yeah, there are some trap skins. If you didn't notice, there are a few new trap skins this year available for Advent chocolates. Typically, the ones that were available in the premium shop in the year prior become available for Advent chocolates. So if you haven't picked up those particular trap skins, you can purchase them with Advent chocolates. But for sure, always open a suggestion. You know, what's another good use for Advent chocolates? But they're kind of a nice bonus. I mean, you know, picks them up during maps, obviously in the calendar as well, and they're a bit of a tricky reward space as well. Power up your cocoa mug trap, eh? I don't know if you could quite stockpile enough Advent chocolate. I guess if you're really dedicated to mapping, you could have a quite large stockpile to use, you know, an Advent chocolate every hunt, but they might disappear a little bit quick on you then. Adrian asking if future events could include progression paths to help bridge the gap between newer and more experienced players. A little bit of that goes on. Certainly, hey, the winter hunt is here, and you can almost think like every golem. It takes 25 hunts to make a golem return. And, you know, again, it's a guideline, not a rule or a law, so to speak. But in those 25 hunts, it's almost as if the golem will collect 25 hunts worth of loot. You know, if you, let's just make up a made up example. If you go to the catacombs, you can collect, let's say, stale cheese in the catacombs. Imagine if every hunt on average you find one stale cheese. If you send a golem to the catacombs, it comes back with 25 stale cheese on average. You know, with enough golems over time, it averages. You know, again, I'm just making up an example. I don't know if that's a specific one. So you can almost think like each golem, if you can get 3 of them going, it's like you're taking 3 hunts at once in that area. You know, we're getting a little bit abstract here. But point being, it's a good opportunity to, kind of narrow the gap a little bit, or you can pick an area that you're looking to get a little bit of a speed boost in, and you can send your golems there as well. So kind of event season plays a little bit of that role already to a degree, but it's also a balance as well. You want to make sure that achievements that you've achieved in the past also don't feel like they've been diminished by future as well. But, you know, there'll always be a little bit, but it's a balance. Already talking about the Tribal Isles Rift already. We might get way too ahead of ourselves to look at any potential upgrades there as well. But well, we haven't even gotten past the conclusion cliffs here. I guess one other note on the conclusion cliffs to touch base on, as well as it shared this a couple weeks ago, and this is fairly firm. There's no plans to change this now. We were been play testing things for a bit. Definitely, I think hunters who are sending their golems to the falls, an important piece of information is, well, you know, how many plot hooks do you need to make a piece of cheese, and kind of get a little bit of a sense of scale and economy of how much a plot hook might be worth as well. So these are the numbers that we've been play testing that we're fairly happy with. Never say never. Of course, maybe something comes up and we do change things a bit before release, but these are feeling a lot more firm, and we've been fairly comfortable with these as well. So, you know, like I said, I shared this exact same thing a couple weeks ago, so just good to touch base on again. Now that hunters are sending golems to the falls, you might be wondering, well, how many plot hooks is a lot of plot hooks? That's a good frame of reference also. And then we can keep on trucking towards the conclusion cliffs here. We can even take a little bit of a sneak peek at the conclusion cliffs, just a bit, and kind of get a little sense of, or give hunters at least a hint of what they might be in for when they reach the cliffs on January 13. Fleming's reminiscent about the old days of Staling Super Brie, eh? It's a good example of the game changing and evolving over the time, and hopefully for the better. There was definitely a period of time where it felt very fun and satisfying to, you know, take the wrong cheese to the wrong area, and every time you went on a hunt, you were just turning a piece of cheese stale over and over again. And then as the game grew in size, depth, and complexity, there were just more interesting challenges to do than making one piece of stale cheese every 15 minutes. And so, so maybe there's a more fun journey to collecting your stale cheese as a loot drop, something you have a little bit more agency over. But nevertheless, it remains a fun, nostalgic little piece of the game's history as well, that I'm sure are in the memory banks of many hunters as well. Scratching Dude, you've seen people who have played not even a year and made it to Archduke. That qualifies as a speed run, I think. That's an impressive feat. Jason also looking ahead a little bit to Lunar New Year. I don't have the date for that ready off the top of my head, but I imagine in January we'll touch base about Lunar New Year as well. It's definitely a fun, popular event also. It's time for me to sound my horn. Let's do that before we take a look at Conclusion Cliffs too much here. What's going to be a glazy mouse. That's always a great catch. So here I'm in the Conclusion Cliffs, and we're just going to take things for a little bit of a quick spin. We're going to be writing our own epic conclusion, I think. We better get some plotting paneer going. So if you're collecting plot hooks to make plotting paneer, there's also Storied Saga, Deus Ex Machina's as well. And you can almost think of these are upgrades of plotting paneer also. So, you know, how much plotting paneer you want to be using is going to be a little bit dependent on what your goals are as well. But hey, better isn't always, you know, it isn't always the right choice to arm that better cheese. And I think if nothing else, that's maybe what we can just demo a little bit as we're writing a short romance, which is my favorite. I always kind of have to sing that a little bit, but I won't subject anybody to my singing here. But you could maybe think of what song parody we could do with a short romance here. And as we're hunting away, we are writing some pages. We are adding pages to our conclusion. And you notice now I'm writing that book over there, adding pages to my own conclusion. I've added 250 pages of romance to my conclusion. But next up, the next chapter here is a comedy. And so if I keep hunting with my plotting paneer, now I'm going to start adding pages, 25 pages with every catch, of comedy. But I think the one thing, little takeaway to have here is these are percentage based, where you could write a very, very long conclusion to your story here, or it could be a short conclusion with few pages. But the percentage of that, the percentages of how many pages comprise that story are going to be a vital role when you do reach the postscript and hunt for some very specific mice based on the composition of your writing. So here I'm writing a conclusion with a whole lot of variety, and also seeing a little bit of a display bug there with the progress bar. We better log that, see if we can fix that out. But you can see now my conclusion consists of many different genres of writing. And when I finish writing that conclusion, that's going to have an interesting effect on what mice I may hunt for once that conclusion is written, with the end goal of potentially or trying to find a way to write the fantasy conclusion to confront the ultimate Mythweaver. And that's going to be the Mythweaver in his final form, where you're going to finally bring the Mythweaver to justice. Feels appropriate that you're using the law power type here in Conclusion Cliffs to put an end to the Mythweaver's plan. I sure hope once and for all. Matt, you remember building the ship with a chance to fail. Red slot crafting is something I haven't thought of in quite a while. Two basket of Halloween event maps have Spooky Shuffle Dust. Can the Winter Hunt maps have Snowball Showdown Dust? I think this the nature of golems as well. Remember, you can pick up Snowball Showdown Dust in the general store, and there are certainly ways to collect lots of snowballs. So it's just a matter of balance, and you know, not every reward needs to be kind of a clone sort of copy or a systematic, have the exact same systems. If anything, that variety is what makes them all unique and special in their own way. So there's other avenues in the Winter Hunt outside of mapping, and it kind of has every event, it gives the opportunity to appeal to different types of hunters. You know, not everyone is an avid mapping hunter as well. So, you know, different things coming from different sources, I think, is a good idea. Pigeon hoping it doesn't turn to a tragedy in the end. I'm sure our law traps can overcome any potential tragedy. Shin marveling at the multi-hunts, indeed. That is one of the challenges, actually, of when we're testing things out. For obvious reasons, we can't test things only taking 5 hunts an hour, every 15 minutes and a trap check. Because by the time we finish testing something, if we want to change it, it's going to take a few months to then test that change again. You might see a new area come out once a decade if we were to do it that way. So, indeed, we have to be able to sound the horn quickly, and then over the years, it's a never-ending journey to gain this intuitive sense of, okay, this feels fast right now. What's it going to feel like though when you got to wait 15 minutes every click? And that can be, I'm not gonna lie, that's a tricky perception to try to get your head around, and it doesn't always quite feel the same. It always, or I should say, it always at least feels a little different once it goes live and you're kind of playing it for real. But that's an interesting design challenge, I suppose, for us. It's a technical, not even a technical limitation. It's literally just a design challenge that is in the process. And it's inherent to the processes. There's just no way we could actually play test it sounding the horn once every 15 minutes, or we would never finish testing it quick enough. Summer loves how busy those droids are. There's lots of fun little details with those droids that'll just, I think, are guaranteed to put a smile on your face. So keep an open eye as you're kind of navigating the cliffs in the HUD. Keep an eye on what your droids are doing. There's a few little fun details, I think, when you connect the dots. Yeah, Christy finds the Great Winter Hunt maps aren't quite as advantageous as Halloween maps. And, that's okay. It's a fair observation as well. But there's plenty of other rewards sort of structures in the Great Winter Hunt that it kind of balances out a little bit. In some ways, it's it's nice not that everything always feels like you have to have the gas pedal all the way down at all times. There's kind of sort of different cadence to each event as well. Hopefully that variety is, I think, what makes the game interesting, even when it comes to different areas. Different areas function in different ways. Some are a little bit more passive, some are a little bit more active. Some of them you need to spend a lot of time slowly collecting items and resources to unlock a reward. Other areas, you never know. The next hunt might be the one that you find that rare item you're looking for, and boom, you can unlock the next thing. And different hunters like different styles of both passive, active, and reward structures. So it's kind of nice that the game allows itself or afforded the structure given different areas and events to create that variety so that different types of hunters can enjoy different things. Matt asking the next area after Conclusion Cliffs. We're just kind of started a little bit there. Started doing some ideation a little while ago. Norm's been working hard doing some prototyping as well, and kind of get a little bit more brainstorming going in amongst the team as well. But we're trying to kind of get our ducks in a row there so we can start some production in the not too distant future. Mouser, any plans for a MouseHunt collectible? It is tricky. There's some logistic challenges, I guess, associated with that, but no immediate plans at least. Max, it is a speed run dev, yeah, in a little bit. Max, a Christmas Dave skin went at. That makes me think a while ago, many years ago, actually. This might have been year one of MouseHunt, as an April Fool's joke. That I think Jacob put that together. I think with the help of Joel and Giorgio as well, where everyone's trap got randomly replaced with a picture of one of the devs, like either throwing a fireball or swinging a big hammer or something like that. It was an April Fool's joke for a few hours. Everyone's trap was kind of glitched out to look like one of us for a little bit, but so that kind of brought back a little fun memory of years ago. I also want mouse plushie, I just don't think we quite have the right expertise to manufacture a plushie, but unfortunately, I agree it would be kind of cool as well to see. Summer, glad you're having fun in the game. I mean, you have all the statues. I might be referring. There was a mouse hunter making figurines for quite some time as well. They were awfully neat. It's a testament to different people's talents as well. Butter thinking 15 minutes is a long time between hunts. It's interesting to reflect upon. Here we're nearly 18 years into mouse hunting, when you think about it, and 15 minutes, how that came to be, and certainly it's embedded in the identity of the game. I think it's probably one of the more sacred rules in the game that we would simply not ever touch. Really, the closest you can get to it, I think, is a Hunter's Horn rewind charm. But it's interesting to reflect upon. I think it is part of what makes the game so difficult to wrap your head around at the start, but also why it's so easy to play for so long as well, because it's not very demanding. It just fits within your day so nicely, whether you're out running errands, whether you're working and sounding your horn on the side here and there, or whether you're just relaxing at home. You can it's a game you can play that doesn't really demand that you check on it too frequently, doesn't demand too much of your immediate attention. And I think the 15 minutes either maybe accidentally on purpose just became the perfect little time window to hit that. But I will say it is usually what stands out the most when somebody tries the game. Is it's a little hard to wrap your head around. Why would I want to click a button once every 15 minutes? But oh boy, once you do wrap your head around that, it really kind of clicks, I think. There's companies that will produce the plushie for you. We've explored a little bit. Merch has always been a challenge, and I don't know if it's just an economy of scale business, so to speak, where you end up spending more to produce the merch than you ever hope to make back from it. And I think the goal with that would be to break even or get close to it. But unfortunately, the gap is large enough. It's been a struggle where we just, financially we can't afford to produce them, basically. Mac, you need the poster behind me. We originally, Maxine, a very talented artist, put together the work of all the other talented artists on the team, and did kind of put that together, and it was meant to be hanging in our office. But then, the pandemic came along and changed plans as well. It was sitting in storage collecting dust for so long that, I thought that was a shame. But alas, it's one of a kind, I guess, for the time being. I say MouseHunt can almost legally drink in some countries. Yeah, it's almost 18 years old in March. That'll be a fun one. The 20th anniversary, that feels like certainly a fun and impressive milestone as well. I might have to do a little extra celebrating there. Michelle, you know what? I can relate too. I play all day at work. I play MouseHunt all day at work as well. Yeah, don't tell my boss either, okay? I want them to know we're playing games while we're working. Max hunting every hour, never get any sleep again. Well, hey, at least it's nice too. Friends can take you on hunts. It's important to remember there, as long as you've kind of checked the game in the last hour and you're in the same region as other hunters. That was a change we made not too long ago in the grand scheme of things, but it certainly feels like a long time ago now, as it used to have to be in the same area. As the game kind of grew a little bit, thought that was maybe is a good use for regions. You just have to be in the same region as hunters, and it's worked really well at the Conclusion Cliffs, with the Folklore Forest as well being such an expansive region also. Para asking if you can power up the rainbow quill, eh? That's okay. I mean, I don't think everything needs an effect everywhere. I will say, though, that the rainbow base, if you're looking to get your hand on a new ability, the rainbow base, the rainbow refactor base there, is kind of the ultimate version of this base we've been upgrading for quite a while, and it will have a special effect. It has a special effect in the cliffs, in the falls, in the acres, and it also has a small bonus effect that you can get that to work anywhere. Again, kind of a bit of a small bonus, but a nice to have one all the same. So you can definitely look forward to earning the rainbow base in the Conclusion Cliffs right at the start of next year if you're looking to get your hands on some sort of new special effect provided with a rainbow theme. I just realized something. I didn't prepare the trivia today. Didn't do it. We never finished. I think we got sidetracked this morning. We started to put together the trivia. We were making some progress on putting together the trivia. And I think the conversation shifted in quite a dramatic fashion, far away from trivia. And here we are. Yep. Didn't prepare the trivia. Can we do this on the fly? Let's see. Let's make a Larry reward link. Or I made one. Let's see here. That should still be in the history. Larry will tell you. Yep, there it is. Okay. All right. Copy this. Well, today's trivia, we're going to have to do it from memory. I don't have anything fun to put up on the screen. The efforts of Giorgio to add transparency to an image for me will now be lost to the ages forever. But we're thinking all the way back to the Folklore Forest, the original introduction of the Folklore Forest. Hunters had to unravel a mystery. Can anyone recall with what mouse did that mystery come to a conclusion? And now I'm really doubting that I have the right answer, that I haven't prepared it ahead of time. Bonus marks if I'm wrong. We'll just file that under bonus marks. Pigeon says, no trivia than the Dragon Heart for everyone, Ayla. I don't think Larry even has an inventory of those to hand out. They're even too rare for him. Ice asking, what mouse is ID number 1? That would be a fun little piece of trivia, certainly. I can't think off the top of my head. The first mouse that was put in the game was the white mouse, but with the launch of V3, I don't think it would have the ID number 1 anymore. It would probably be the Abominable Snow Mouse. It's the Abominable Snow Mouse. I am very confident in that response because it was by alphabetical order when we launched V3, and A is pretty high up there in the alphabet. He probably was able to grab mouse ID number 1 there. So Deb West, honorable mention to the Bookborn mouse. And that's a fun piece of trivia that probably used on a previous Feedback Friday, was the Mythweaver was once a Bookborn mouse. And that was part of the mystery that hunters had to unravel. And we'll give a pretty strong hint here. It was the mystery of the subterranean underpass. And I think it started with the Bookborn. I could be very wrong here, but I'm pretty sure hunters started this mystery in the Crystal Library, capturing a Bookborn mouse, finding a clue that then kind of set them on this path. There we go. Hollow in the chat has the answer that I'm thinking of, and we'll see if this was the correct answer. But it was the Sylph mouse. And the Sylph mouse description, I think, was all the way back in 2010, mentioned the subterranean underpass, a hidden way to go under the lagoon into a hidden area, and that area was the Folklore Forest. You might notice on the map, even when you come into the Folklore Forest, you come up a set of stairs. You kind of go under that wall. You have to find your way in underground into the Folklore Forest, and that was by finding that subterranean underpass that the Sylph mouse had been protecting for over a decade. I'll put this reward link in the chat as I don't have it up on the screen here. Hopefully I didn't get logged out. Let's test this link, make sure it works. That's always a good idea. Hey, it works all right. An always useful reward with Conclusion Cliffs just around the corner. Matt says, I don't recall that. You'll have to, if you go to the news section and you start paging backwards a little bit, maybe something that I did this morning, you can come across the news post that was releasing the Folklore Forest. It has a few of the details, and I think there was a follow-up news post as well that kind of spelled out the mystery. It was actually a fun way to do a pre-release that we've done every now and then, was have a mystery that the games community have to work together to try to figure out, and then once that first person figures it out, kind of the results get published, and then everybody can follow along those instructions to unlock the map piece as well. It's kind of a fun pre-release. Hollow recalls it was found by mistake by someone who forgot to change their setup after moving, Fleming 1,000 passing parcels. You can still obtain passing parcels. They're technically not discontinued. I think you have to find the confused courier mouse. If you find the confused courier mouse in the Winter Hunt, you will find yourself a passing parcel. Matt, what's going on here? Tomorrow's sad that the map is filling out. You loved how the map was asymmetrical, Let's zoom out. Let's take a look at the map. It's always fun to look at. One of my favorite things to look at is the map. I'm going to say when we're doing creative ideation, I've often said it's hard to schedule creativity. It's like, okay, on Tuesday we'll have a meeting and we'll have a good idea. Tuesday at 2 p.m., okay? Everyone show up. That's the meeting objective. Have a good idea. It just doesn't work that way, right? But when you're trying to get into that zone, right, trying to summon that creative energy, for me, looking at the map is what does it. I don't know what it is. I zoom in. I even play a little song in my head, depending on the type of idea we're looking for. If we're looking for something epic, I'll start kind of like boss music plays in my head while I look at the map and I hum that. If we're looking for something more fun and jovial, a little like adventuring, music. A little jig starts playing, and you can dance a little jig to that song. But there's something just inspiring about looking at the map. Just makes you feel like, where do you want to, where do you want to adventure today? We are getting there. It'd be nice to fill out a few other sections here. It's fun to reflect upon over the years some ideas that maybe didn't come to be as well. But, we'll see. They're always inspiration for the future also. Ice. No. With those Larry links, we have definitely added some error checking to make sure there's some things Larry isn't capable of handing out. So. Matt, you remember the description of the Sylph. You had a friend, or you and a friend used to theorize all the time of where that would lead to. Eh? Well, it took a few years, took over a decade, but we closed that loop for you. Spoiler alert, I don't think we knew where it was headed either in 2010. Norm has all the parcels. Norm's objective is to just obtain all the passing parcels in the game so no more can be sent out. But he'll have to completely hunt out the confused courier, I guess. Somehow that confused courier is finding him. Maybe stealing them from Norm's inventory. Hard to say. Matt asks, is there ever a plan to add lower ranked areas or rework older areas? There are plans, but there's rarely the time and the means in which to execute said plan. So, that said, the next area that we are ideating on would not be a viceroy at the moment anyway. Again, subject to change, but the current idea that we're looking at, it would not be a viceroy area. But long way to go. It may very well become a viceroy area. Who knows? But that's the current thought process we're on. And I always kind of like to give a little sneak peek, drop a few little pieces of information on things that we're still working on, because often then we keep our ear to the ground and see, okay, what impressions do we get from hunters? What does that start a little bit of chatter? Does it not? What sentiments and speculations do we start to see surface through various different social channels as well? And that's all good food for thought for us to kind of morph and mold that clay of that idea a little bit. But we should probably wrap things up pretty soon, eh? What do we think? Yep, Para indeed. That reward link was 5 condensed creativity. You know what? Just in case, if you're watching this recorded and you can't see the chat, we should put it on the screen, eh? Let's take a look at the trivia from 2 weeks ago. What was that? Well, there you go. This is an older reward link. That would be expired by now. So don't type that one in. But here we go. This is me being pretty lazy about how to get that up there. But there's that same link I just pasted in the chat as well. So I don't know. If you happen to be watching this on a screen where you can't see the chat, there's 5 condensed creativity if you claim it within the next 2 weeks. Duck, glad you enjoy the lore. Yeah, it's a unique experience in MouseHunt. We try to inject that primarily through different item and mouse descriptions, and then I'll leave a little bit to the reader's imagination as well. Just by nature of it, you're not literally telling a story, but you're providing little pieces of information that allude to a story that are behind it. And I think the fun part of that is it always leaves a little bit of room for interpretation. And, sometimes that's a fun way of storytelling, because then the story always makes sense in the reader's mind, because they fill in the gaps with things that are going to stick in their mind that make sense to them. How about the business, says Fleming. Michelle says, plans versus hour in a week do not balance well. Tell me about it. That's probably, I've often lamented, or I've often thought, oh boy, if I had a machine that could pause time, then we could make a whole bunch of stuff and, then unpause time and release it. That'd be fun. Or says a continuation of Plank Run's journal. Unfortunately, that project is far on the back burner. There is some light at the end of that tunnel. We do have some long-term plans to lay the groundwork to update the interface, to take a step towards doing some creative ideation to make that into a cooler feature. So that's about as far out as you can get there. We're planning on meeting to discuss how to plan to create to work on the first step towards planning something else. Anyway, we're officially rambling. We should wrap things up. Yeah, you never seen The King. Here's a picture Jacob illustrated many, many years ago, and the king, he's in shadows. You've seen a silhouette of the king. Well, Merry Christmas to you as well, Summer. Russ, thank you for the holiday wishes as well. Hope you have some happy holiday hunting. Yeah, Nid Larry's a humble and friendly knight no more. Yeah, I don't think there's any regalness in him. Shit, if you could pause time, you'd have enough sleep every day. That's what you do, right? Pause time, take a nap. That sounds like a pretty good use too, actually. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. All right, hunters. Well, we'll wrap things up. Have yourself a fantastic holiday. Like I said at the start, this will be the final Feedback Friday of the year. I think let's look at the MouseHunt calendar. That'll be a good way to look at it. So I am going to anticipate the next Feedback Friday will be not until January 9. So it is nearly a month from now, just the way timing works out. Because next week we have a holiday get-together, actually. We're all kind of getting together in person on Friday to celebrate. And then we will be off for a little bit, and it will be until probably the first Feedback Friday there will be that January 9. So have a great break, everybody. Happy holiday hunting. Good luck in the winter hunt. And Feed Bake Friday. It's been years. It's been many years, eh? One day, that'll be a fun little thing to do again. All right. Well, happy holiday hunting again, everybody. Have a fantastic, great winter hunt. We'll see you next, either myself or Jacob, probably one of the two of us, on January 9. That'll be just ahead of the release of the Conclusion Cliffs also. So actually, that should be a pretty fun Feedback Friday. We'll maybe be able to do one more final little sneak peek. You know, without spoiling too much of the strategy ahead as well, but maybe we'll take one more look at what it means to be writing pages in the Conclusion Cliffs on January 9, right before the Conclusion Cliffs releases. I didn't have it on this one. Where is it? We got the calendar in the way. I'm not doing a good job. On January 13. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic holiday, everybody.
2.
You're a trap. Don't seem to mind it. You attract me. I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry. Oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back. You don't seem to mind it, but I'm a fool. Broke my back. You don't seem to mind it, 'cause you're so cool. And just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe.